The big silver and gold update you've been waiting for. Are we headed for a depression in the United States? What about silver and gold price manipulation at the COMEX, and what could that mean for future price moves as we move into the coming months, quarters, and years? Today, we're joined by Coin Shop Chris. We've got a lot more to cover as well, all of it related to silver, gold, platinum, the precious metals. Coin Shop Chris, welcome back to Ron's Basement.
How you doing, Ron? It's good to be back.
It's good
You
to
know,
see you, my friend. You doing well?
I'm doing well. Just before we start, I would just like to ask everybody, it's almost Christmas time, Ron. You got just over 29,000 subscribers now. I think we can get Ron to 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if we can all share this with one person, we need this over 900 of you guys share this with one person, get everybody to subscribe. We can get this done. Let's give Ron an early Christmas present and get it done before Christmas. Thank
Well,
you.
I appreciate that, Chris. And yeah, that would be something good as we're heading towards a depression, maybe recession. I want to get your thoughts on a couple things. We've got inflation crashing, which in some ways is good, but also a sign that the Fed is crashing the economy. We've got jobless claims up. What do you think when you look out there at the economy? I know depression, the word depression, it isn't mentioned by many people, but do you think that it's a possibility as we go into the coming year, let's say?
Well, look, Ron, we got people living paycheck to paycheck and more middle class. So it's starting to be poor people. And, I see at the shop, Ron, people come in and have to sell a couple ounces of silver here and there. There are other ways to do it. I mean, this again, it's not financial advice, but a lot of credit unions right now, Ron, are offering not a bad rate for personal loans. I've seen them for 6.99. If it's better than the credit card. Let's put it that way. I don't like it either. You don't like it, but 7%, that might be better than trading in your silver or gold right now, because I think silver and gold are going to go up more than 7%.
Yeah, well,
So,
if the Fed succeeds in killing the economy, if we hit a recession, if we hit a depression, the first thing the Fed's going to have to do, and they're going to do it faster than we've ever seen in the past, is pivot toward lower interest rates. We had UBS Bank, the big Swiss fancy bank, last week put out a report saying that they think the Fed could lower rates by 2.75% next year. If that happens, that's going to send the price of silver and gold flying.
it will. That will definitely show what's going on, and that will absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth, Ron. I don't even know how to reply back to that.
It's a rarity. We find you speechless, other than the times when you've shoved more than one ding dong in your mouth, right?
Well, we know you like to shove 3 or 4, so um, so
So at the shop, let me ask you, at the shop, you're seeing people come in. We're hearing this, right? That people are, average middle, lower middle class people are selling their precious metals. There's unfortunately sales are down in the retail investment side of the precious metals sector, is what we're hearing. We're hearing from the CEOs of companies like Walmart, Target, that the consumer, they're concerned about the health of the consumer. Now, let me remind you, they always brag in mainstream media that the United States economy is a consumer-based economy. So when this consumer is showing weakness, and when the CEOs of Target and Walmart are saying that people are putting off purchases, even in the necessities, and one of the examples they gave, like, people aren't coming in to buy new coats or sweatshirts until the weather's already cold. They're like putting everything off. We could be heading for some difficult times in this country.
and it's some people like to say, I've seen in some of your comments, Ron, you can't eat silver and gold. Well, physically, can you eat it? No. I mean, what is really the difference if someone comes into a coin shop and say, I want to sell this, 5 ounces of silver, and go into bank and cash in a check? Yes,
Right.
there's going to be a middleman. It's the same aspect. Silver and gold are money. Everything else you think is money. It's just unicorn thought dust. That's it. you know, that's how it is. I mean, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
if it wasn't for silver and gold, we wouldn't have the dollar. We wouldn't have this fiat garbage that we have now. That is basically worthless.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, and when I say worthless, Ron, prices are going up and up and up. If your paycheck going up and up and up to keep up with this stuff, absolutely not. Nobody's is.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I did a remote a live stream from my friend Rick's basement yesterday. His house was built in 1905. If you want to talk about the dollar becoming worthless, when was the Fed was established in 1913? You know, people that lived in that house in 1913, had they put all their money in paper money, but you know, back then they were silver certificates. But if they had put their money in paper money, it would basically have become worthless. I think the dollar's lost like what, 98% of its value since the Fed was initiated. So there's no argument, right? I mean, the Fed's explicit agenda is to keep inflation at 2%. Well, guess what? Over a long period of time, even at 2% inflation, the dollar becomes worthless. So any argument to the contrary from a mathematical perspective or a general logic perspective just does not hold water.
You know, I mean, I use it, you know, for an example, Ron, we got inflation, we got shrinkflation. You know, I like the Irish Spring bar soap. That used to be 5 ounces, Ron, per bar. They
Yeah.
went down, you know, then they came out with the Irish Spring Sport. I still have one bar to prove my point, and I would love, you know, maybe I can send this to you and you can put this on your community page, a picture of that bar. Is that reads 4.7, 4.5 ounces, Ron. So
Yeah.
that was back way back then. Then they've cut it some more. They went down to 4 ounces. They've cut it down 3.75. Now they're down to 3.70. Well, I tell you, this fella a year ago, Ron, I called him up. And I said, at what point are you guys going to stop calling this a bath size bar? Because they still advertise it as a bath size, and stop calling it a gosh darn hotel size. I mean, they keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it. And, you know, I mean, you can't even hold 3.7 ounces in your hand. It's worse than a hotel size.
Yeah. So are you cutting back on the number of showers you're taking, or are you
Well,
buying more
no,
soap?
but I mean, Jesus, Ron. I mean, but no, I mean,
I'm getting some really bad visuals right now. So
that's your brain.
let
That's not my brain.
I know. It's all I control what's inside my head.
Are
Nonetheless,
you sure
you
about
bring
that?
up yeah, you bring up a great point though, Chris, and I think we I want to touch on this. Not only have we had inflation, right, 8, 9, 10%, maybe even higher by the like places like Shadow Stats that talk about the real numbers, but let's just say we've had 9% inflation over the last 1, 2 years, 3 years, however you want to look at it. On top of that, not only have the prices that you're paying for Irish Springs gone up, but when you factor in that shrinkflation, that what you're actually getting, when you factor that in as well, it makes the inflation numbers, the real inflation numbers, even more astounding.
First Mining Gold is a development company advancing two of the largest gold projects in Canada. Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet, located in Quebec, each already has 5 million ounces of gold reserves, but exploration initiatives are underway at both projects to find even more gold. First Mining is well financed, has zero debt, and owns an interest in 4 additional Canadian gold development projects.
Absolutely. I mean, they've done it with a lot of stuff. They've done it with coffee, Ron. They've done it with ice cream. Most ice creams used to be a half gallon. You know,
Yeah,
now we're at 1.75 quarts or a quart and a half. I
right.
mean, you know, it's you know, I'm seeing
Every
this, and I'm sure your viewers are seeing this. And you know, I mean, yeah, the only thing I've really seen come down to stores is the price of eggs, Ron. To be honest with you.
yeah. So pretty soon, Chris, we're like when we go to the grocery store, we're going to be like going into a miniature world, you know, like a little train set, you know, pick up our little bitty things of ice cream and our little bars of soap and whatnot. Sorry,
Uh,
I sneezed. As I
no,
sneezed, I'm sorry.
you're absolutely right, Ron. I mean, you know, it's they're trying to make these shopping carts bigger and bigger for a reason, for us to think we're gonna fill our shopping carts up. And the way I do it, and it's not no advice. When something's on sale and I can store it without it going bad in time before we use it up, I buy multiples of it when it's on sale.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I guess
yeah.
that's the way I shop, and that's how we kind of shop. And and when I see a good deal, I stock up.
Well, this is a channel about silver and gold, so we better stop talking about our shopping tips and move on to, let's talk about the silver price manipulation. Do you, Coin Shop Chris, believe that the price of silver and gold are manipulated on the COMEX?
Absolutely. And the only way we're gonna win, we gotta play their game. So how
Yeah,
you play the game is keep turning your unicorn dollars into silver and gold. We will finally break through, Ron. It's
yeah.
like you went to a casino. You got to play their game. Yeah, the casino's gonna let you win every now and then. You know, you that's how you got to play the game. You got to act it like you're betting against the casino, and finally, we will be the ones who we've been trying to tell our families, our friends, or whoever to do this, and they give us a third eye look. Well, those are the people who are going to be knocking at your door asking for a handout when it all goes to crapola.
Well, and the other thing I want to point out with price, yes, it's been determined. Silver, gold, a lot of markets are manipulated, especially on a short-term basis. But what's interesting about what's developing is we really are now moving into a different environment with a confluence of positive factors that are likely going to be very supportive to the precious metals prices. So while silver, we'll focus on that, generally has been manipulated to the downside over the last 50 years, several decades, whatever time period you want to look at. That's because silver, it was easier to manipulate it. The dollar was strong. Most of the factors that affected the silver price and gold price over the last several decades have made it the path of least resistance was down for the price. So the manipulators, they just want to make money. They don't care if the price is going up or down, but it was easier for them to press the price down. Some people are proposing that as now we're moving into this new era, new paradigm for the silver and gold price, that the path of least resistance will be up, and that these same manipulators, they don't care. All they care is that they make money, whether the price is going up or down, but it's going to be easier for them to press the price upwards.
And as you will know, Ron, that's paper price.
Right.
That's paper price. So, the only thing I can say bad about silver and gold, I can say, does it pay interest in the savings account? No. Okay. The silver and gold, we can throw in platinum with this also. It's actually an insurance.
Yeah.
In case something happens down the road, it's to protect your wealth. A lot of people think, Ron, we're going to get rich off silver and gold. Is that a possibility, Ron? Well, in what terms? It is there to protect you in case if something happens. And that is how we all need to view this, and not thinking we're going to be millionaires overnight, like with the GameStop stock that went to the roof and it crashed down to almost nothing.
Right.
The more we have silver and gold, the better off we all going to be in the long run. That is my opinion. Is it fact? Could be fact soon.
Yeah. Big party here in the basement when silver hits 85. That's when Coin Shop Chris himself gets to take the blindfold off the bear. Let's talk about couple other exciting things. Are you interested in the Paris Accords, Chris? I know you've done a lot of reading on the Paris Accords, haven't you?
No, I have not, Ron.
I'm just giving you a hard time. So there's a big meeting coming up, Chris, in Dubai, somewhere that's in the Middle East, called COP28. Okay, you've heard me talk about this, but it's a big deal for silver in particular. COP21, and that's a meeting where like the big industrialized nations come together. COP21 was where they came out with the Paris Accords, which set out guidelines for how they wanted it to control climate change in the world. COP28 is another big year. It's coming up here just a few weeks in Dubai, like I said, but they are now proposing, and this is like China, United States, the big powerhouses of the world, about tripling the installed green energy capacity throughout the world, which could mean an explosion in demand for silver. They want to do that by the year 2030. So that's just like in the next 6 years, basically. And we're not talking about just tripling like the production that we had this year. We're talking about tripling everything that's already been installed up to right now. It could be a very exciting demand source because we're losing right now a lot of demand from investors in the metals. Any thoughts on that subject?
Well, with all this solar panel, this Green New Deal, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah. Am I on board with it? It's good for down the road, Ron, but they want it done overnight. You plug in your electric car in your outlet. Well, where does that energy comes from, Ron? That, yeah, some of it comes from water, some of it comes from solar, some of it comes from oil, but that's the main point of it, Ron. Most of our energy is gas based.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it says it on my light bill, gas use, and that's plugged in. So, I mean, if we all gonna, in the electric grid's failing now, Ron, how are we all gonna plug in electric cars, plug in electric weed eaters? The grid's gonna go down. That we need to build the infrastructure up before we start thinking about doing this.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting, probably 5 years ahead of us, but it really could generate massive demand for silver in particular, because the newer generations of solar panels, most people are predicting are going to have even more silver in them. Hey, you did some interesting comparison shopping on quarter ounce gold coins. Usually you're a silver guy, but this week you went out and compared prices on quarter ounce gold eagles random year at some of the big online bullion dealers.
That's
Is that
right,
correct?
Ron. I mean, I know I'm I don't own any really physical gold. So I'm kind of like you in this thing. So I know there's a few people may be interested in this. So every now and then we will do gold to make everybody happy. So what I did was 1/4 ounce random year gold eagles, Ron. And at Money Metals was $716.75.
Okay.
That made me fall out of my chair when I saw that price. AtMax was $677.93. SD Bowen was $582.37. The shop I work for, we were at, I can't say we're like random years. We let people pick out of 3-4 different years, Ron, at this price. So we were at $573.50, but Pinbacks wins it again, Ron. They came back at $567.20. Money Metals, Ron, was $149.75 more. Let me repeat that again, Ron. $149.75 more.
Wow.
I'm going to ask you, Ron, what can you do with 175, 149, say $150?
I can buy at least five nice silver eagles, or maybe Austrian Philharmonics. I can buy 5 ounces, good quality government minted silver coins. How's that for an answer?
That's a good answer, because I was right on board with you, Ron. I went also, then I checked Pinbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the people know I love the Australian kookaburras. They have them. I didn't go price check them around, but I took that price. They were actually at $32.78 for the 2023 kookaburras. You could get 4 on at $131.12. Still have $18.63 over from Money Metals. Well, my turkey this year, Ron, cost me $14.82. So I can get 4 ounces from Pinbacks for the kookaburras in the turkey for less than what Money Metals has offering.
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that from the highest price that you found to the lowest price, you're going to get essentially the same 1/4 ounce gold coin. But if you go with Pinbacks, right, which is the lowest price, on top of that, you can get, I have no idea what a kookaburra is, but you can get 4 of these 1 ounce Australian minted Kookaburra coins, and you can get yourself a real frozen turkey for Thanksgiving. Is that right, Chris?
Absolutely. And
Wow.
still had money left over on top of that, because I paid $14.42. So after you take the kookaburras, so you save about $4 or $5 left over, still gone.
Which is a box of ding dongs. So you
Which is a
got
box of ding
Thanksgiving dinner
dongs.
and dessert, right?
At max was $110.73 difference, Ron. And SD Bowling was $15.17 more than Pinbacks. So there's your turkey right there with SD Bowling there.
Get yourself a turkey. And I want to point out to everyone, you draw these numbers. Is it 4:30 Eastern on Fridays? Is that when you go out and check these numbers?
This one I did at 6 p.m. Last night, Ron.
And you're comparing apples to apples, because you're comparing the cash cost to buy one of the products at each of these different websites, correct?
Absolutely. That's how I do it. I try to compare apples to apples to be fair to everybody. And we're not here to try to beat up any other company. The point of we doing this every single week, Ron, is to show your audience that you have to shop around. Because I wouldn't want to pay $150 more. That's for gosh darn sure.
Right. And that you can get yourself over time a lot more metal if you make sure that you're getting the best value. And when I say value, you want to make sure that you're dealing with a company that you trust. Pimbex, right? They are a sponsor of the channel. I trust them. And I would recommend all of our viewers, do your own due diligence, read up and read what other people say, and and then compare the prices. And I think they'll find what I found, and that's Pimbex is best, pimbex.com.
Absolutely, Ron. And I just want to give them a shout out. I mean, it's week after week. I don't know how they can beat us. If someone would have came in, really, to be honestly, if someone would came in and say, could you match Pinbacks? I would probably have to say no, based on our margins are so close on this one.
Right.
And my reply would be back to somebody, if someone came in and said this, all honestly, well, we're $6.30 more, but you get it today. You get it in your hands today. Don't have to wait for shipping. That's me by my reply back. That's the honest policy that I would say. If you want to wait for it, that's fine. Go. Then I don't think we could really match that this week, to be all honest with you.
What about the 30-day numbers? That's another feature you grace us with every week. What'd you see when you compared the 30-day numbers?
30-day numbers. Silver was actually up 75 cents over the last 30 days, or up 3.26%. Gold still hanging in there. Gold's up $47.80, or up 2.47%. Platinum is still a little bit down, but it's up from the last report we gave. Platinum is still down $1.10, or down 0.120%. And Bitcoin fell again from last week's run, but over the last 30 days, Bitcoin is actually up $8,037.36, or up 28.28%.
Wow.
You want unicorn fart, those? Good luck to you. I'll leave it as that. And
that's unicorn fart dust measured in unicorn fart dust, right?
You got that straight, sir. Oil was actually down $10.82 a barrel, or down 12.49%. This is a space I'm watching closely, because oil was actually up Friday on the day trading scale. So we will see where we're at next week with that.
Yeah, well, oil was down. Oil's interesting. It's a good barometer on the economy. Oil was down all week because of economics demand slowdown. And then the OPEC guys came out and said they were considering additional cuts because they weren't happy about what was transpiring in the Middle East. So oil, from its natural, market forces, because of slowing worldwide economies, was actually down, but popped up on that news that they might do even, more additional incremental cuts. So yeah, oil's an interesting market right now. Chris, I want to mention to everyone watching right now, if you want to support CoinShop Chris, I'll put a link in the description of this video where you can give him a donation if you feel inclined to do that. But on behalf of everyone, thank you again for joining us. You're a great asset to the Ron's Basement community, and it's always a lot of fun to visit with you.
And I want to thank everybody for the ding dong fun. I like people calling it that. I enjoy it. I enjoy the jokes. Let's just keep it well. Let's have some fun here, and let's get this. Let's all enjoy the chat.
Yep.
That's what we're here for. And let's help each other. That's what we're here for. So thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Chris. And don't forget, everybody, when silver hits $85, Ron and CoinShop Chris are going on a North American tour in an RV. We could come visit you with the bear there without his blindfold on. So yeah, everybody be nice, and look forward to meeting everybody sometime in the future.
Absolutely, Ron. I would enjoy that.
Sounds good, Chris. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
See you next week, buddy. Bye-bye.